Hi everyone, it's me, Lubna. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today is Thursday, November 10th, 2022, and I just got home after class. I had an ultrasound class this afternoon, and we looked at the heart, and it's pretty amazing that we can look at things like that using the technology we have these days. I'm always amazed by everything we do in medicine. And today, I really don't know what I'm going to talk about today either, just like yesterday, but it doesn't hurt just to put myself out there and see what comes out. Over the summer, I lived here in Arizona. I didn't go back home to California, where I'm from. So I was here and I was studying, as I had to retake a course over the summer, and I was also studying for my board exams, which I'll have to take later in May or June of the upcoming year. Yeah, I felt quite lonely at times this summer because I didn't really see my friends as much. We didn't have class, so obviously I wasn't seeing them in class, and I wasn't really hanging out with people either. I am an introvert, but I could be not really an extrovert, but I do talk a lot in one-on-one settings, and I love having good conversations, but I have trouble finding people like that who to be friends with here in Arizona. And so that's why I often just chose to spend a lot of time on my own over the summer. And I used a lot of that time to go on walks and writing in my journals and diaries, and I did some drawings because I love art, I love drawing. I took a lot of pictures since I love photography, and I edited the pictures, and I tried to organize all of those things. And I guess today I'll just talk about one of the journal entries I wrote over the summer. So this was from Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. And I already talked about another journal entry in a previous video I did, but this one is about being humble. And I think being humble is a very important thing to be. And people like humble people, and I know that I like humble people who are interested in other people and the world around them, and don't try to show themselves as being better than anyone else. So this is my journal entry. Let me just read it really quickly. There is joy in self-forgetfulness. So I try to make the light in others' eyes my sun, the music in others' ears my symphony, the smile on others' lips my happiness. Helen Keller. Yesterday, during my evening walk, I saw a young father with his child at the lake, watching the ducks line up as the sun was setting along the western edge of the vast Arizona sky. I also saw a woman walking her dog through the park. I passed through a residential street and witnessed two friends embrace in a hug before parting ways. What have I learned from all of this? The fact that there is so much life and love on this planet beyond just me, and it will continue on long after I am gone. This is a very humbling thought. So, as I said previously, I was feeling quite lonely this summer, and I didn't have much things to look forward to other than studying by myself. So I didn't pay much attention to my appearance. I didn't wear makeup, I didn't dress up, I didn't have a reason to dress up, and there was nobody to impress. So instead of focusing on those kind of superficial things, I spent a lot of time going on walks and doing things that were good for my soul, like writing and listening to podcasts and lectures on YouTube. I love doing that. And reading books. I started going to the local public library for the first time, and I was so amazed to see books about things other than medicine. It was so refreshing. I got to check out the theology section. I really like religion, and I learned a lot more about Christianity and Buddhism, and I read a couple books by C.S. Lewis over the summer. So that was, and he writes about Christianity, so that was very edifying for me. But whenever I went on these walks, they made me feel a lot less lonely because as I said in my journal entry, I would walk around the residential streets in my area, and I would see so many like little things, like kids playing at the park. They were playing soccer. I remember one day there's a church that I always pass by during that walk. It's like located right in that area, and just seeing people like driving home, a few friends talking at the like at a bench or something. Just observing people reminds me that there's so much more life out there and people out there outside of me, and it's not all about me. So in that way, it made me feel a lot better, and I used all my observations while I was feeling this loneliness and trying to find comfort in observing other people. I used that feeling to create art, and I wrote so much about this in my diary, and it was one of the low points in my life, and I still remember, like I will not forget it. I wrote about it just to remind myself how I was feeling, so that one day I could look back and tell myself that I overcame that. But I recently listened to a lecture by the psychologist Rollo May. He's a Columbia graduate, and I really love his work. And he was talking about how loneliness is essential for creativity. And I really agree with that. Sometimes I feel like when I'm around people too much, it kills my creativity, and I can't think outside of the box. I can't use my imagination because people tend to limit us, like they bring us back to reality. Of course, it depends on who you're around. If you're around the right people who spark your imagination and help you to figure out, like, think outside the box and think in a more inspired way, then that's different. But most people aren't like that, so they always ground me. Everyone around me is grounding me and bringing me back to reality. But my head just goes up, out, and into space, and I always think of impossible things, doing things that nobody's gonna do, like writing in my journal every day, making art, taking pictures, making videos. I love it. So that was just an explanation of how I transmuted my loneliness over the summer to something very productive and beautiful. Like, I love being alone now. Loneliness is not lonely for me. It's a gift. It's a way for me to figure out who I am and what I like, what my brain is like, what is going on inside my head, and what I can, come up with. So that's why I love loneliness. And even though this summer was quite difficult, I'm grateful for it, and it humbled me a lot to realize that I'm alone, and sometimes, it's not all about me. People aren't always gonna think about me, and I have to find joy in other people's happiness that I observe, and also trying to bring happiness to other people without really thinking about myself or thinking about what they can do for me in return. In that sense, loneliness and humility are related, and I would say that loneliness leads to creativity, and humility is an antidote for loneliness as well. And I think we have to be humble in order to be creative too, because sometimes we have to forget about ourselves and think about what we're creating and like putting out there for the benefit of others. So that's my message for today, and I hope you always remember to stay humble, no matter how successful you are, no matter what you've achieved in life, and what you have, like, be humble and remember that you're not better than anybody else. I do have to remind myself of this sometimes, and a lot of the time I know actually that I'm being in medical school really humbled me a lot, like knowing that I'm not nearly as amazing as other people when it comes to getting perfect. I don't get perfect grades at all, but like doing well in exams and stuff. But yeah, humility is important. So watch what you say around other people, and just remember it's not all about you. And that's actually a very freeing thought. It's not negative at all. It's very freeing. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, whatever it is. wherever you are in the world.